Dallas consistently ranks as one of the best places to live in America, and it's earned that spot, but even I'll admit it does come with a few surprises that even the best places list conveniently leave out. But I'm gonna break down what I wish every person knew before they actually made the move to Dallas. And my name's Levi, and today I'm gonna be breaking down the real pros and cons of living in Dallas, Texas, what I like and kind of what I don't like, and what I'm gonna warn you about after living here myself for over 25 years. But also stay with me till the end, because one of the last cons is something that I've never seen anybody really talk about. And I'm gonna start off with one of the major cons, which is property taxes suck here in Dallas. I'm just gonna be honest with you. And look, yes, there's no state income tax, so if you're a higher income earner, you can definitely make that up. But Dallas County property taxes total around 1.74% when you combine kind of like the city, the county, the school districts, and other local taxes. But the national average is close to like 0.86%. So think about a $400,000 home. You're looking at close to $7,000 a year, which is about $585 a month on top of your mortgage. You know, it's not just that issue. Since 2019, property taxes in Dallas County alone have increased by 32%. And many Dallas homeowners have seen their tax bills climb by 30 to 40% in just a few years. And that is, I think, just a complete ripoff. And that's the other issue with the county assessing the value of your home, right? It's not really even based on actual comps. They may raise the value of your home even though your home hasn't really appreciated according to the current market. And of course, there are ways that you can fight this. You could even have us do a market analysis to show you what the real comps in your area are based on the appreciation or depreciation in your certain area. Because I promise you, whenever the county assesses your property, it only goes up every single year magically. But there are some things you can do to fight that. I'll actually link property tax protest company that you can work with. I've used them before as well. And then on top of that, you can make sure you have your homestead exemptions in place. You can, if you're a senior, if you're a disabled veteran. By the way, Texas is the best state to live in if you're a 100% disabled veteran, because you have no state property taxes. And that is a massive savings. So it makes it really, really convenient for those retiring in the military here in the great state of Texas. But you have to be mindful and you have to stay on top of your property taxes, because I have seen them jump each year with a lot of people really for no reason at all. So you've got to stay on top of that. You have to dispute it every single year or hire a company to do it as well. But one of the biggest things that can help you out is to actually get a home evaluation, actual comps on your property by a licensed agent like myself, and I'd be happy to do that for you as well. So if you're going to be facing property taxes here in the next month or two, which now's the time to dispute them, then go ahead, reach out. My information is below. Happy to do an evaluation of your home for the true market value so you can dispute your taxes. All right, now I'm going to jump back and forth on these pros and cons, and let's start with pro number one, which is a massive job market, which is also creating a big relocation magnet. And of course, the trade-off for the higher property taxes is that Dallas is one of the strongest job markets in the country. So over the last decade, we watched major employers move entire headquarters and regional hubs here. So think about Toyota in Plano, Charles Schwab in Westlake, you got McKesson in Las Colinas, you got Liberty Mutual and State Farm in the North Dallas suburbs. And on top of that, you got tech, healthcare, logistics, finance, professional service that are all expanding across the Dallas-Fort Worth area. And so what this means in real life is that you can move here and actually build a career without being completely priced out of housing. So you've got a lot of white-collar jobs, blue-collar jobs. The construction around here is crazy. You got remote-friendly jobs as well. You got a growing startup scene that are all operating within the same market. So Texas stays pretty business-friendly, which is a big part of why this works. No state income tax, no corporate income tax, fewer regulatory hurdles than a lot of the other coastal states. And if you're relocating with a company or you're a business owner looking really to hire, Dallas makes that a lot easier. And again, for veterans, the advantages are even stronger, of course, with the property tax relief, specific business incentives as well. So if you're a veteran trying to start a business, you can get no franchise tax for the first 5 years of your LLC. So even though I mentioned property taxes are probably the biggest con of living here, you can kind of make up for that in income potential. So because Dallas and Texas as a whole has created a very, very business-friendly environment, a very tax-friendly environment other than property taxes, that's what I don't get about Texas. I mean, we're pretty good on everything else, but we're terrible on property taxes. So, I mean, just being real. But again, there are ways that you can fight that, bring it down, make sure all your exemptions are in place as well. Plus, they just increased the homestead exemption significantly, so that's going to help out with a lot of people. All right, now I'm going to go with con number 2, which is going to be the massive size of Dallas. Now, maybe some people like that, but you have to drive everywhere, and it takes literally 30 to 45 minutes to get anywhere, it seems like. Last night I came back on a flight from Love Field going up into Prosper. It took an hour and 10 minutes because I landed at 5 o'clock. So the traffic, even though I was only going about 25 miles, I mean, but if you're going from like Frisco to Southlake or even McKinney to Plano, it doesn't look that far on the map, but often you're looking at a 30-minute drive minimum, you know, sometimes 45 minutes, sometimes an hour. I mean, for me to get to Southlake right now is almost an hour. So Prosper, Frisco, McKinney, Plano, they're all amazing, you know, but if you want to go to downtown Dallas, literally, if you want to go at 5 a.m., then you're going to get there within 25 to 30 minutes. It's great. But any other time of the day, it's going to take closer to 45 minutes. And if it's during rush hour, probably more like an hour. And of course, with everybody moving here as well and Dallas becoming one of the most popular cities in the country, then that is increasing traffic. They are trying to relieve that with the road construction, but I'll add that in there with not just the size of this place, but the constant road construction going on everywhere in the city. So it's always like one day, this road's going to be bigger. All this construction is going to be over. But as soon as they finish one section, they start on a new section, and then you're driving through another section. But I will say I have lived in Chicago. I have lived in New York, and I've lived a couple of other places as well. But Chicago and New York, the traffic 10 times worse. I've driven through LA. Terrible traffic. So even though, yes, we every city has its traffic issues, but at least you do keep moving in Dallas. So, you know, I'll add that in there as well. Unless there's some massive accident or something, rush hour traffic, you pretty much keep moving and you can get through it. You're usually not stuck longer than an hour, which I've been stuck for 2 hours in Chicago and New York, just on a regular commute. All right, now let's go with pro number 2, which is going to be master plan communities and a lot of high performing schools, at least in the suburbs. And, you know, if you look anywhere in the Dallas suburbs like Frisco, Prosper, Allen, Plano, Southlake, Southlake's like one of the top school districts in the country. They have a ton of master plan communities, and the school districts are all typically A+ rated whenever you check the ratings online. These master plan communities are now coming with lagoons and multiple pools and pickleball courts and awesome gyms, you know, I mean, and reasonable HOAs, park areas, green spaces, biking trails, all of that. Golf courses, golf clubs. I mean, you know, one particular community up in Frisco called Fields has 2 PGA golf courses, and then Legacy Hills and Salina is going to be adding a major golf course in the 1876 Golf Club. I mean, you can get a better and bigger home than you can on the West or East Coast. And then you look at the schools, and look, if your kids are in sports, I think Texas is probably the best state to be in for kids' sports. High school football, clearly the real deal here. Friday Night Lights. If you have any kids in football, they're going to be best served here in Texas. I think Texas produces more NFL players than any other state, so we take that very seriously here. And then, of course, all the other sports that go along with it. And if you get into, you know, the inner city of Dallas, it's kind of hit or miss. Whenever you look at the school ratings, you'll find pockets where some neighborhoods have really highly rated schools, and then you'll see some others that are not so highly rated. So always just encourage you to verify, you know, the schools online if you're looking at a certain place to live. But that'll bring us to con number 3, which is a lot of people complain about the heat, and of course with heat comes higher utility bills, but also we get some pretty cold weather around here as well in the winter time, usually January, February. But again, we've had multiple summers with multiple days of 100-degree heat. Now it's a little bit drier up here. We're in the North Texas area. It's not as humid as Austin or Houston. Houston's really bad, and I like it up here as far as in the summers. I mean, I grew up with this. I guess I'm better conditioned, but even during the 100-degree days, it's a lot. But I don't know. I just pretend like it's a nice warm blanket wrapping me whenever I walk outside. I mean, I like wearing t-shirts and shorts, you know, and I'd rather be a little bit hotter than a lot colder. So it's a trade-off, no matter where you go. Now during the fall and the spring, my favorite times of years, just because we have absolutely perfect weather. So if you make it through June, July, August, which is really the three warmest months, the rest of the year is not too bad. I mean, you got September, October, November, December, 4 months of typically perfect weather. It usually doesn't rain. We have anywhere from 85 to 90, sometimes 70-degree days, and no humidity. It's beautiful. I have so many family pictures during Christmas in t-shirts and shorts. So standing outside, and maybe it snows here once every 5 years. And that's been funny, is like we've had some white Christmases, but like I said, that's a hit or miss and typically happens every 5 years or so. The rest of the Christmases are just nice and warm. And then it doesn't typically get cold until somewhere around mid-January. Then you have about 45 days, mid-January to all through February. Very weird weather. It fluctuates. It'll be 25 one day, 70 the next day, but 25 or 30 degrees here is cold. It's way colder than 30 degrees in New York or Chicago. We have a different bone-chilling cold here, and it's miserable in my opinion, and I hate it. But I also know it's short-lived. By the time we get to March, April, May are pretty much 3 more months of beautiful, perfect weather. So I would say we get about 7 months of really amazing weather. And then we have an extreme summer and we kind of have an extreme winter, but the extreme winter is typically without snow. Sometimes we'll get ice. We just helped a family move here from Canada when it was November, December timeframe, and they're still wearing t-shirts and shorts. They were blown away. They're like, my goodness, it's -10 up in Canada, so they are loving life and having a good time. So they don't miss that cold weather either. All right, pro number 3, I'm going to talk really about the overall tax-friendly environment. So this is kind of like the bigger financial picture that comes together whenever we talk about this. And I know we just talked about property taxes and utilities, but you have to zoom out and look at like the total tax burden and the income potential on that. So Texas remains really one of the most attractive states from a tax perspective. No state income tax. So again, you think about this for high income earners or even dual income households, the lack of income tax really could offset a big chunk of the property tax. So, for business owners and entrepreneurs, the ability to operate in a lower tax pro-growth environment is really a major advantage as well. So again, while property taxes, on your mortgage statement might hurt sometimes, the overall tax structure is still one of the key reasons people and corporations keep choosing Dallas over other markets in the entire country. All right, con number 4 is probably my biggest con, as well as no mountains and no beach, at least no ocean, you could say. So I love like going to Colorado or Utah or even New Mexico, and just driving through and seeing the mountains. Absolutely beautiful. I love going to California and going to the beach. I love going to the Caribbean, going to the beach. I love the beach. It's amazing. We don't have that here. We do have lakes, so we replace everything with lake life in Dallas. So I grew up on lakes. We love them. So if you like to water ski, wake surf, wakeboard, cliff jumping, fishing, all of that great stuff. We've got 5 massive lakes within pretty much 15 to 20 minutes of no matter where you live in Dallas. You can get to a major lake and have a great time. It's just a lot of fun here. That's how we operate. And then, of course, we just go vacation in those other areas and enjoy the beach and the mountains whenever we get a chance. But we do have some elevation changes around the Dallas area. If you go to like Oak Point Park in Plano, you go to Cedar Creek Park or Cedar Creek Lake down in South Dallas, there's great hiking trails. You go to Grapevine Lake, great mountain biking trails and hiking trails, and there's elevation changes a lot around the lakes as well. When you get south of Dallas and even east of Dallas, you start running into the outskirts of hill country. So we do have hill country closer to Austin, San Antonio, and on the way there as well. But Dallas, pretty much flat everywhere you go. And you got to get a little bit more out if you want to see. Salina has some good hillage going through there. Fairview, Lucas, around Lake Lavon, you got some good hills running through there. But I love the beach, and we don't have that here. But, again, a lot of people that move from the beach, they enjoy the school districts, the curriculums, the politics, the lower taxes. And so, it's a give and take, right? And let's go with pro number 4, which would be constant growth and development. And also amenities. One of the most, I think, exciting parts about living in the Dallas area is how much development is happening all the time. We have a ton of mixed-use districts coming online, new restaurants, new shopping centers, new entertainment areas. We're getting a universal kids resort. That's pretty cool. We got Six Flags, we got Hurricane Harbor. The residential communities that they're building out have all these crazy amenities in them. So you see these developments, especially like in Frisco and Prosper, Salina, even around downtown. You've got these ongoing urban redevelopment projects, office towers, mixed-use projects. They're starting to reshape the skyline. So the airport's going to expand. They're going to add a whole new terminal there. Major infrastructure projects that improve the connectivity. They're adding more Dart Line rails. They just completed the Silver Line, which was a big deal. More job opportunities, housing choices, amenities that you need. I mean, the level of growth here is really mind-boggling when you look at it all. It's amazing. Every time I turn around, something new is popping up that is massive, like 500, a billion, $1.5 billion, or $2 billion project. So they're just going crazy right now in the building here. But with all that growth and, shiny new objects, that's con number 5 is the $40,000 millionaires. So this is more for you ladies. Just keep in mind and watch out for the $40,000 millionaires. And I'm talking about there is a culture of that. More of that downtown area in the uptown area where you hit some of the younger crowds. You got people that are trying to drive the tricked out BMW. The BMW, I think, is always the sign you got to watch out for, all right? No offense to BMW drivers, but, it is. They got a really nice BMW typically, and then they have a $1,500 a month apartment, all the designer clothes and everything like that. I mean, so again, that's more for the ladies. Just be mindful whenever you start on the dating scene or checking out that hot dude. He may be in the $1,500 apartment and, I don't know, making just an average wage. Not that matters, right? Because you marry for love, right? I mean, that's what's more important. But really, all joking aside, Dallas does have a little bit of that uppity up, feeling sometimes. You're not leaving the house unless you look amazing. Even everybody in their workout clothes are just look like they came off of the showroom floor. They're coming out of hot yoga just with perfect hair and makeup and everything else like that. But hey, to each their own. I don't mind it. I like getting dressed up and going out with dinner on Friday nights and things like that. But most of the time for myself, I'm in t-shirts and shorts, maybe even a hat sometimes. It depends on if I'm meeting with clients as well. But the thing is that clients that work with us, they know exactly who I am and how I look on these videos as well. So I don't think they expect me to show up in a suit. And I don't try to present that way in any form or fashion. I mean, we sell multi-million-dollar homes and we do that in t-shirt and jeans. That's just who we are. All right. And pro number 5. I mean, we're friendly, right? And it's a lot more manageable place to live. If you're coming from the Northeast, then and you're not used to people talking to you in line at Starbucks or at the bakery or something like that, that will happen. People just strike up random conversations with you. Ladies, guys will typically open doors for you. If they see you coming behind them, they'll see your reflection and they'll grab the door and open it up and let you walk through. So don't be startled by that. Just say thank you and go through the door. It's just a part of what we do. It's still the culture. I mean, you might be driving and, if you're on a back road, you might give the old, driving and whoop, just the 2 fingers up, just the hello. People are typically a lot friendly and gracious even in traffic. And if you're in the suburbs area, and you don't like to talk to people, be careful going out at night, walking the dog, walking the kids, or taking them to the park, because then you'll get caught up on the corner or in somebody's front yard and they'll stop and have full-on conversations with you, and you might end up talking to them for 30 minutes, an hour. I mean, when we go out of town, my neighbors take my trash out. They'll put the trash back in. I've had them take boxes into my house. They have my door code. It's just really cool to really have that support. And I think typically they make their kids do it. But it's funny, one of the neighbors brought in some boxes into our house one time, and then she sent a text and was like, wow, I love your home, She hadn't been inside of it yet. But, again, it's just, it's a lot of fun here. And that's just the way we are. So that's the way it is in Texas, and we love it. So if you're not used to that, be prepared. And, you don't want to be a hobbit and stay inside all the time. Maybe it'll get you out of your shell a little bit. But look, Dallas is a city with really a lot of massive opportunity, incredible suburbs, a tax-friendly environment. But then you have to deal with some property taxes, the big size of it. I mean, hot summers, but again, I think the pros outweigh the cons. The key is knowing what you're getting into, and if you're willing to deal with some of the challenges. I mean, Dallas offers an amazing quality of life that's really hard to beat. So if you're thinking about making that move to Dallas, myself, myself, the team, would be more than happy to help you make a very smooth move to the Dallas area. My phone number is on the screen or in the description below. You can shoot me a text or even schedule a Zoom call if you want to talk to myself or Travis personally. We always love to get to know you and your personal situation, and really what's the motivation? What are you looking to do? What are you looking to accomplish here in Dallas? And is it the right time for you and your family? We like to talk through that because everyone's situation is different. The market is interesting, but we can find a deal in any market. As a buyer, we've been averaging this year alone for our clients $10,000 under list price, $20,000 in concessions, and no buyer has had to pay our commissions, not a single penny. So there's real advantages. Right now is the opportunity to take advantage of the market as well, but it really just depends on your situation. And if you want to know a little bit more about Dallas and the economic powerhouse it's becoming, you should check out this video. And until next time, well, we hope to show you around town.